but you're alive. No David Foster Wallacing in my galaxy. You don't get to be so smart that you remove yourself from everybody. From one god being to another, you're welcome.
And in Weird Things in Space News,
starting your episode off with blatant self-referential news positional repiping. Bold move, Rick and Morty. A bold move indeed.
You mentioned the self-referential nature of it, but then proceed to sin it anyway? This begs the question, do you genuinely believe that's a sin, or are you just pretending for the sake of the video? Either way, it's a sin, but I do kinda wanna know.
Oh, what's it now?
I mean, if you're forcing me to send something in this thing, that flag's annoying me because there's no way there's room for the star section in that little part that's off the screen. This is just red and white stripes all the way to the pole and you know it.
This is not our universe, seeing as Rick and Morty have jumped ship on multiple universes. So if you're gonna be nitpicky about the flag, I'm gonna be nitpicky about you.
What did you do, you tiny monster?
Morty didn't do anything, but I'm still gonna issue a sin for the convenient timing of the dinosaur aliens showing up right as the teacher was accusing Morty of always bringing terrible shit like this down on the school. You know how we feel about that in these quarters.
Discount Jeremy is watching a cartoon comedy and acting as if there should never be things that happen for the sake of comedy. In a comedy. You see why that's dumb, right?
Starting your episode off with blatant self-referential news positional repiping twice in the first 2 minutes. Bold move, Rick and Morty. A bold move indeed.
Sinning the self-referential news position twice within the first minute of your video.
These aliens want Earth. They'll have to go through Egypt. And they can ask mummies how that goes.
But are we talking about the Boris Karloff mummy, the Brendan Fraser mummy?
Skip. Also, this entire sin is way too long, very boring, and at best is annoying. Not to mention he made a bunch of pop culture references. I'm gonna add 50 sins for it and accept the sin writer's thanks for not adding more. I can be a kind and forgiving dictator when I want to be.
Monkeys went bald?
Hilarious! But in what world do you know enough to know monkeys existed, but not enough to know about the development of Homo sapiens?
This one right here? You know, because he just said it.
How did these dinosaurs even get in the UN building? Did they install a dino door?
So, are you just ignoring the scene later where they show off their ability to portal? Okay.
Be considerate of this long neck to hold their head like this when the imaginary camera's on a close-up and then extend their neck completely for the wide shots. The imaginary cinematographer thanks you.
Everything wrong with Rick and Morty, ladies and gentlemen. The showrunners kept this dinosaur in frame.
But surely there was some point between gunpowder and something called Amazon Prime.
We don't know what Amazon Prime really is either. We just know that $130 or so disappears from our checking account every year, and that allows us to then send more money to an invisible entity that often sends something in return that we didn't even ask for.
I'm sorry, what was the point of that sin? He didn't say anything satirical, critical, or remotely funny, so now I'm just confused.
Every fridge full? But why? In a post-scarcity society like this, not only would you never have to stock up on stuff, you'd never have to cook at home either. I mean, you could if that's your thing, but I'm guessing most fridges would just sit mostly unused while everyone picked up free Five Guys.
Discount Jeremy has never heard of snacks that need to be refrigerated. In other words, he's an idiot.
See, the headline is unemployment at 100%, but someone had to write this article, someone had to print it, and someone had to distribute it. So how exactly is no one working currently?
You briefly mention a little later that it could be robots doing all these jobs, so I'm gonna sin you for your lack of consistency in this video.
Show teases us with pandas falling and a snake wearing miniskirt and doesn't follow through on either, forcing us to come through in the clutch. You're welcome.
You know what? I actually kinda like this sin. It was a breath of fresh air amongst all the dumb and unfunny stuff they usually throw at us. I mean, it certainly wasn't a laugh-out-loud joke, but I did crack a smile.
Does anyone know how to mail things to publishers?
Not to keep making this my hill to die on, but even if they did, who would be able to publish the book? Who would even pick up the mail? Sure, maybe it's technology of some sort, but I don't see any cool robot butlers, so I'm calling shenanigans.
If there is a possible explanation, that means it's not a sin. Just because it's never explained outright does not make it a sin either. What you're asking for is the show to go out of its way to explain something that anyone with half a brain cell can figure out for themselves.
The only thing that could make the name of this restaurant more wonderful is if Beau Bridges was the one inside cooking the food. And since that's not the case, here's a sin.
Discount Jeremy makes a Beau Bridges reference that isn't a sin of the episode cliche.
At first it was fun spending all day watching whatever YouTube autoplays after the last one autoplayed.
Insinuating it ever gets tiring letting YouTube videos autoplay. Give in to the algorithm. The algorithm loves you. The algorithm is your friend.
Unfunny joke is unfunny.
How often are you Westworlding me?
Calling it Westworlding instead of Dr. Goldfoot and the bikini machining. There's an order to these things.
Discount Jeremy makes a pop culture reference that isn't a sin of the episode cliche.
If you get rid of the dinosaurs, you can host the Oscars.
In a situation where one has all the leverage and said person chooses their reward to be the most thankless job on the entire planet.
Oh, sorry, I was waiting for him to say an actual sin. So far, he's just complaining that a character's desires aren't the same as his, which obviously isn't a sin. So...
Overcandling around flammable flora.
Pointing things out on the screen.
Gateways are see-through, not a green swirl, so now you can see where you're going.
I like these dino lords. Can they also help me understand how the portal automatically knows where you want to go? I mean, if you're fixing our portal sins, we might as well go ahead and fix them all.
We can safely assume that the portals somehow tap into the user's brain. Again, just because the show doesn't sit down and hold your hand doesn't mean it made a mistake. I mean, do you honestly want them to give exposition on the portal guns? Wouldn't you just sin that for being boring?
They're gonna call us Laura Dern because we're about to get elbow deep in dino doo-doo.
Yeah, let's not reference the parts where Laura Dern wards off a T-Rex and velociraptors to save kids. Let's just talk about her reaching into some which, for the record, she's doing in an attempt to save a dinosaur's life. You put some respect on Laura Dern's name, Rick.
Discount Jeremy has a boner for Laura Dern.
I said clever girl earlier. You didn't even react.
Complaining that a reference you are also explaining wasn't given its due in the past. What are you, a Cylon or something?
Yeah, we figured they used to hold huge outdoor concerts in their land amphitheater.
Maybe this is a silly theory, but the singing skull feed is way more interesting than our boring old dinosaur stories. Also, just making sure everyone caught that Cylon reference a few seconds ago. That's from Battlestar Galactica, and while I can't watch you watch this video, I could feel there was very little laughter, so I'm just bringing it up here again for no reason at all.
See what I mean when I sin him for being boring and annoying? Yeah, this is the kind of shit I'm talking about. Yes, I understand that this was done as a joke, seeing as he mentioned explaining your references and then did it himself, but it just wasn't funny. Also, Discount Jeremy makes a pop culture reference that isn't an of the episode cliche. Also, he mentioned how their dinosaur theory is more interesting than ours, so Discount Jeremy said something he likes cliche.
The majestic basket soar! Aren't they incredible? We're even making a series of increasingly terrible movies about cloning them in a theme park.
Can't be worse than Jurassic World Dominion, so please feel free to bring the Basket Soar franchise to Earth.
Discount Jeremy makes a Jurassic World reference that isn't an of the episode cliche.
Please. What fossils were wheel-shaped?
These ones. Am I taking him too seriously? Yes. Yes, I am. But does he deserve it because of his unfunny jokes? Yes. Yes, he does.
It appears that the Rick and Morty animators are using the repeating faceless crowd models again, which, fine, do what you gotta do, but this guy bugs me. Why is his head so big? Why is it all skin tone when others have distinct hair colors?
Calling white skin, quote-unquote, skin tone as if it's normal? That's racist.
Swan is headed directly towards us. And all of our work? It was for...
How are these ultra-evolved creatures with their godlike knowledge and wisdom unaware that they have an arch-nemesis? You know everything there is to know in the universe, except that you're being hunted by evil sentient space rocks?
Yes.
Using a perfectly beautiful slice of pepperoni pizza as a hate projectile. It's pizza, and it's delicious, and it contains every single food group, you yum-chucking waste monsters.
Unfunny joke is unfunny.
And you had no idea about the disastrous meteors that followed in your wake.
Deciding to let Anderson Cooper interview you to tell your side of the story.
Pointing things out on the screen.
Also, do the dinosaurs not watch movies? Because if they watched Armageddon, they'd save some time. There's a formula to it. A very simple formula.
That actually counts as 2 pop culture references, Armageddon and Scream. So 2 sins is appropriate.
I mean, no one knows if the meteor species is even real.
Deciding to let Joe Rogan interview you to tell your side of the story.
Pointing things out on the screen.
This guy created a Dinosaur Avenue sign and is replacing a current street sign just so he can graffiti the word sucks onto it. Game recognized game.
Discount Jeremy sins something he likes cliche.
Wilson! Why does Tom Hanks yelling Wilson all of a sudden sound like Dave Seville yelling at Alvin? What even is this nonsense?
A whole bunch of bullshit.
Rick has a gizmo that lets him see whatever he needs to see, even though he clearly didn't type in any commands or coordinates. Cliche.
That's not a cliche, my guy.
We're doing something selfless.
Are you, though? There's no way calculations could have been done to guarantee the safety of Earth when Mars blows up into thousands, if not millions of pieces. There is so much that could go wrong here.
Discount Jeremy tries to apply logic to a cartoon ex machina.
Somewhere in Tasmania, a devil silently weeps at the cruel theft of his native tongue.
Did he think that was funny? That's embarrassing.
Hoo-ha! Check it out.
Rick and Morty writers last a full 5 episodes without their portal gun crutch before giving up.
And that's a sin because... why? Oh, it's not? Then why did you add a sin?
A dimension where hats wear people.
Fun, but why do the hats also have the same body construction as people? Those aren't really hats then, are they? They're hat people. So technically, it's a dimension where hat people wear people is people hats. Huh. That felt good. I've missed you, Portal Gun. I've missed you so much.
Nothing that he just said was a sin. What it actually was a boring little rant that never should have been in their script.
All right. Internet porn? Check. Tissues? Check. Lotion? Check. Okay. Let's go. Aw.